You are now listening to M5D UFO Files, Unraveling the Secrets of Aerial Phenomena. Welcome, truth seekers.
Today, we're not just looking at history. No, we're peeling back the layers on a story that the official books would never, ever dare to print.
Okay, let's just dive right in with a question that should make you rethink, well, everything. What if we aren't the first advanced industrial civilization to call this planet home? It's a concept known as the Sumerian hypothesis, and it is absolutely mind-bending. It forces us to ask what history even means on a planet that's 4.5 billion years old. Our entire recorded past? It's just a blink of an eye. Exactly. And in this explainer, we're opening the case files. We're going to start in Earth's deep past, then journey to the frozen secrets of Antarctica, uncover the alien lore of New Mexico, and expose the powerful machine that was built to keep it all hidden. And finally, we'll ask the biggest question there is: what is the truth? So, our first case file tackles that very question, the Silurian hypothesis. It isn't some wild claim that another civilization did exist. It's more of a thought experiment. How would we even know if one did, say, tens of millions of years ago? Where would you even begin to look? And that right there gets to the heart of the problem. We look for ruins, for artifacts, but the Earth is basically a giant recycling machine. You've got plate tectonics, erosion, sedimentation. It all means that after just a few million years, the very ground a civilization stood on is probably gone, buried, melted, or just ground into dust. So, if we can't find one of their skyscrapers, what can we find? Well, we look for their ghost, a chemical footprint they left behind in the rock layers. Scientists have a name for them: technosignatures. We're talking about things like a sudden massive spike in carbon from burning fossil fuels, or strange concentrations of metals from industrial mining, or even the chemical signature of mass agriculture. And here we have a real-world example that is, well, it's pretty stunning. 56 million years ago, an event called the Paleocene-Eocene Thermal Maximum, or PETM, happened. For about 200,000 years, Earth's temperature shot up by 6 degrees Celsius, and we see this huge carbon spike in the sediment. It's a perfect match for the profile we're looking for. So what you're saying is, something was here? Well, while it fits the profile, the scientific consensus points to massive volcanic eruptions. But, and this is the key, it proves that the kind of evidence we'd need to find is actually there, just waiting in the rock, if a civilization like that ever existed. Now, let's jump forward in time by about 56 million years to 1946. World War II is over, but a new secret conflict is just opening up in the coldest, most remote place on Earth, Antarctica. The mission was codenamed Operation High Jump. Officially, this was a massive naval expedition for scientific research and cold weather training. Sounds plausible enough, but the rumors told a completely different story. Whispers in intelligence circles claimed the real objective was to hunt down a secret Nazi holdout, Base 211, and get their hands on their advanced flying saucer technology. And the mission commander, Admiral Richard E. Byrd, an American hero, returned with this chilling warning. After his massive task force was forced to retreat 6 months ahead of schedule, he started talking about a new enemy, about incredible flying machines that could fly from pole to pole in an instant. And then, he was ordered to be silent. According to this alleged secret diary of his, which was only released long after his death, Byrd's plane was taken over by silent, disc-shaped craft marked with swastikas. They guided him down into a hidden, warm valley where he saw a living mammoth and then a futuristic city. He claims he met their leader, the Master, who delivered a grave warning about humanity's destructive path with nuclear weapons. It's an incredible story, truly. But, and this is the crucial part, the diary is almost certainly a fabrication. For one thing, it describes the North Pole, not the South. Key passages are lifted nearly word for word from the movie Lost Horizon. And the author of its foreword was a well-known proponent of the hollow earth theory. The evidence is clear. This is a fascinating piece of fiction, not fact. While Bird's diary may be fake, the questions around why Operation High Jump ended so abruptly, those remain. But our next file takes us from the frozen south to the hot deserts of New Mexico, ground zero for the entire modern UFO phenomenon. It all started in a tiny town called Roswell. This timeline really shows just how quickly the official story was brought under control. On the morning of July 8th, the local Army Air Base puts out a press release that goes global. They had recovered a flying disc. Then, just hours later, a general holds a press conference with some wreckage that looks like tinfoil and balsa wood, claiming it was all a simple mistake, just a weather balloon. A weather balloon, a story so simple they had to keep coming up with a new one every few decades. I mean, look at this. The official story has changed constantly. First, it's a weather balloon. Then, suddenly, it's a top-secret spy balloon called Project Mogul. And the alien bodies that witnesses swore they saw? Oh, the Air Force said they were just crash test dummies from an operation that didn't even start until 6 years after the crash. The cover-up at Roswell opened the door to much, much darker legends. From the wreckage of that story rose another, far more sinister one, Dulce Base, a supposed secret underground facility nearby. The claim is that a treaty was signed, giving a hostile alien race permission to abduct and experiment on human beings. And what did we get in return? Their technology, a deal with the devil. Whistleblowers describe this 7-level nightmare facility, and the deeper you go, the more horrific it gets. Level 4, mind control experiments. Level 6, genetic labs and something they called the zoo, full of failed human-animal hybrids. And level 7, a cryogenic freezer for human victims. But here again, we have to separate the lore from the evidence. This infamous photo, which has circulated for years online as proof of the horrors at Dulce, it's a screenshot. It's from the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, The Sixth Day. It's a classic example of how easily fiction can be repackaged and sold as fact in this field. Which brings us to our next case file. What if some of these incredible stories weren't just hoaxes? What if they were deliberate campaigns? We're talking about official, state-sponsored disinformation, specifically designed to confuse every single one of us. A psyop, a psychological operation, and believe me, the government has become very, very good at them. The goal is simple. You flood the zone with so much conflicting, bizarre information that nobody knows what to believe anymore. It muddies the waters, it discredits serious researchers, and it keeps the real secrets buried under a mountain of convenient lies. And there is one name that seems to be right at the center of this web: Richard Doty. He was an agent for the Air Force Office of Special Investigations, and his job was to manipulate UFO researchers. He was a master at feeding them just enough truth to make them swallow the elaborate lies he was spinning. And that includes key parts of the Dulce Base narrative. And his masterpiece was Project Serbo, an incredible, highly detailed story of a secret exchange program where 12 American astronauts supposedly traveled to an alien planet back in the 1960s. It was so compelling, so intricate, and a complete and total fabrication. Yes, a fabrication with a purpose. The prevailing theory is that the Serbo story was a CIA psyop from the height of the Cold War. The goal? To make the Soviets panic and believe that America had alien allies and their advanced technology. And all of this brings us right up to today. This long, tangled history of secrets, lies, and psychological operations has created a real crisis of credibility. And now, a new battle is being fought, not in the shadows, but in the halls of Congress and the Pentagon. It's a war for disclosure. And this really lays out the two opposing sides perfectly. On one hand, you have high-level intelligence whistleblowers, people like David Grush, telling Congress under oath that the U.S. has recovered non-human craft and is illegally hiding a secret reverse engineering program. And on the other hand, you have the Pentagon's official UAP office, ARO, stating publicly that after looking into decades of cases, they have found, and I quote, no credible evidence of any of it. It's a direct contradiction. Both of those statements cannot possibly be true. So after a journey through deep time, secret bases, alleged alien treaties, and documented government psyops, we're left with this one fundamental question. In this information war, how do we know what's real? Is the truth something we uncover, or is it something that's being manufactured for us? M5D, UFO files, real-life mysteries discussed by those who dare to question. The truth is out there, and we seek it. If you're a truth seeker like us, don't forget to like, share, and join the Truth Seekers, only on M5D. And please, rate and review us. It really helps other seekers find our content. Subscribe now and dive deep into the unexplained with M5D UFO files.